Did you know that aside from strawberries, bananas are technically berries? And did you know that we kind of misled you just now? Yes, bananas are technically berries, but for a long time, we knew some of you believed that strawberries are berries. But it's a misconception. Yes, it's a misconception that you have believed and has fooled you for quite a long time. But you know what? Strawberries belong to the rose family and are considered aggregate fruits, not berries, botanically speaking. Having said that, there are different ways that we, as people, are being deceived by others. So in today's video, Luxo lovers, we're going to talk about the art of lie detection. Simple cues you're being deceived. In this video, we are going to discuss the clues to know when someone is lying to you. Stick around to learn about it, and by the end of the video, we expect that you have kind of learned something so that next time, people won't easily fool you. Show some love to Luxo-Life, and let's get started. Nonverbal cues. It is the most obvious cue. You know, little changes in how they talk or act. It's like our bodies have a way of giving away the truth without us even realizing it. When someone starts acting differently or seems uneasy, it's like a little red flag waving in the air. Maybe they start tapping their foot or shifting in their seat. These subtle changes can be pretty telling if you're paying attention. So next time you're chatting with someone and something feels off, keep an eye out for those nonverbal cues. They could be a giveaway that someone isn't being completely honest with you. It's all about being observant and picking up on those little signals our bodies send out without us even saying a word. Just remember though, nonverbal cues aren't foolproof. Sometimes people fidget or avoid eye contact for reasons unrelated to lying. But it's still a handy tool to have in your toolkit when you're trying to figure out if someone's being straight with you or not. Contradictory details. You know someone is lying to you when the details they're giving you just don't add up. It's like they're telling one story today and another tomorrow. That's when you start to wonder if they are being honest with you or not. Imagine you're chatting with a friend and they're telling you about an event they went to last week. But then later on, they mention something totally different about the same event. That's a contradictory detail right there. It is comparable to attempting to assemble a puzzle with mismatched pieces. So when you catch someone slipping up like that, it's a sign that maybe they're not being entirely truthful. People tend to forget the lies they've told, and those little slip-ups can be a dead giveaway. It's like their words are painting one picture, but their actions are showing another. Fidgeting. Fidgeting is when someone is moving around nervously, like tapping their foot or playing with their hands. You know, those little movements people make when they're feeling anxious or uncomfortable. It's like their body's way of releasing some of that pent-up tension. So when someone starts fidgeting during a conversation, it could be a sign that they're not being completely truthful. It's like their body is trying to distract you from what they're saying by focusing on these little movements instead. It's sneaky, but if you're paying attention, you might just catch them in the act. Think about it like this. Imagine you're talking to someone, and they suddenly start tapping their foot or playing with their hair. It's like their body is sending out signals that something isn't quite right. That's when you start to wonder if they're being honest with you or not. Verbal and non-verbal misleading. Basically, it's kind of the combination of non-verbal cues and contradictory details. Picture this, someone is talking to you and their words seems to be saying one thing, but their body language is telling a different story. That's verbal and non-verbal misleading right there. So when someone uses both their words and their body language to mislead you, it can be pretty tricky to spot. It's like they're trying to throw you off the scent by sending mixed signals, but if you're paying close attention, you might just be able to see through the smoke and mirrors. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone and they're nodding along and smiling, but there's something about their tone of voice that just doesn't sit right with you. It's like their words are saying one thing, but their tone is saying something else entirely. That's when you start to question whether they're being honest with you or not. Strategic language use. There are many types of manipulators, and one of them, which is also very dangerous, are soft-spoken manipulators. They are masters of using language to deceive and manipulate others. Paying attention to the specific words or phrases they use can give you clues about their true intentions. It's like they're carefully crafting their words to steer the conversation in their favor. So when you're talking to someone and you notice them using certain words or phrases repeatedly, it's worth taking a closer look. Maybe they're using vague language to avoid giving a straight answer, or maybe they're using persuasive language to try to convince you of something that is not true. Either way, it's a red flag that they might be trying to manipulate you. Think about it like this. Imagine you're in a conversation with someone and they keep saying things like, "Trust me" or "Believe me." It's like they're trying to plant seeds of doubt in your mind or make you question your own judgment. That's when you start to realize that maybe they're not being entirely honest with you. Remember, they know exactly which words to use to get what they want, and they're not afraid to use them. But if you're aware of their tactics and you know what to look out for, you can protect yourself from falling victim to their deception. Observation of multiple indicators. Listening to your intuition is crucial when it comes to detecting deception. Sometimes lying is not just about one thing. Sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture. That's where observation of multiple indicators comes in. It's like connecting the dots to get a clear picture of what's really going on. So instead of focusing on just one thing, like someone's body language or the words they're using, deception detection involves taking a step back and looking at everything as a whole. It's like putting together a puzzle where each piece represents a different clue about whether someone is being honest or not. Imagine you're trying to figure out if someone is lying to you. You might notice that they're avoiding eye contact, fidgeting nervously, and using evasive language. Individually, each of these indicators might not mean much, but when you put them all together, they paint a much clearer picture of what's really going on. Behavioral clues in confession. When someone confesses, it's like they're opening up and sharing something important with you. But just because someone says they're confessing doesn't always mean they're telling the whole truth. That's where behavioral clues come into play. It's like their actions can speak louder than their words and give you insight into whether their confession is genuine or not. So, when someone is confessing something to you, pay attention to how they're acting. Are they making eye contact and speaking confidently? Or are they avoiding your gaze and stuttering? These little behavioral cues can tell you a lot about whether they're being sincere or if they're trying to deceive you. Imagine you're talking to someone who's confessing to something they did. Maybe they seem nervous and fidgety, or maybe they're calm and collected. Those behavioral clues can give you a sense of whether they're being truthful or not. It's like their body is giving away clues about what's really going on in their mind. And there you have it, the simple cues to figure out if someone's pulling the wool over your eyes. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, we bet you're itching to hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and maybe even share some extra tips on spotting lies. Let's help each other out. And if you're new here, don't be shy. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to keep up with all the latest. Catch you in the next one, Luxo lovers.